if you have to say it more than once, it should be recorded. It should be put somewhere where it's accessible, and then you should never have to deal with that again. You should solve the problem one time. So if you ever had to clear a feed jam in a copy machine, you had to explain more than once to somebody how to do it, or more than once to two different people, you should put it as training, and you should locate it right near that copy machine and be done with it.
Okay, so I fear we've hit that point where people are like, this sounds like a whole, I don't have time or all this for anything. So let's get into now, how do you create easy, practical, and measurable training? So we've defined what you can train for, but
Mhm.
some of the things that you had outlined earlier when we were talking, it's very cool. So let's talk about how you can make it easy, practical, and measurable.
So the thing that is an absolute game changer for training in the corporate world is the iPhone. You can get really high quality video off that little device that's in your pocket. And so, just to use the copy machine example, if you have a copy machine that's jamming on a regular basis, what you would do is you would take your iPhone and you would have somebody who is an expert in fixing that particular coffee machine walk through the steps while you record it. Make it slow, make it clear, make it deliberate. Once you've got a good video, what you want to do is just upload that video to some location where everybody can access it. Now, it could be something as simple as Google Drive, or it could be, Dropbox, or maybe you've got space, a particular folder on your corporate website or in your corporate server somewhere. But it has to be accessible to the people who are going to need to make use of that training. And once that's the case, then when you open that training, if you look at the top of any browser, Google Chrome is the preferred one for me. If you look at the top of Google Chrome, you've got that URL right there. You can use that URL and turn it into a QR code. That QR code is just an image when you save it. And you can.
How hard, Chris, how hard
Mhm.
is it to turn a URL into a QR code?
Oh, not at all. You can put it on a website if you needed to, or you can print it. And if you print it, and this is what a lot of my clients do when they need just in time training at a specific location, if you print that QR code and laminate it, you could put it next to that copy machine. If somebody
Tape it
has a
right to it,
jam,
right?
exactly, take you right to the video. It'll walk you through the steps on how to clear that copy machine, or how to put, if you put it on the QR code on the dashboard of your truck, it'll now tell you how to put the placards in the appropriate locations and what checklists to do, what steps to do when you pull in for fuel. You can put it next to the baby changing station. It'll walk you through how to change a diaper. So those are really useful things that you can do in the immediate location when you need very specific, very just-in-time training for your employees.
Okay, so that's super cool, right? Like we
Mhm.
have I'm a forklift driver, and every time I get off the forklift, before I get back on it and start moving things, I have to go through my checklist of make sure I'm doing things safe. So
Mhm.
I ping that and watch the video, refresh myself. Obviously, you finally remember that, but it's always
Mhm.
there just in case. But we also talked about, you can measure this stuff. So what are
Yeah.
some examples, and how can you use it to measure, tell if people are taking it, tell if they've actually watched it, tell if
Mhm.
they've done what they're supposed to?
So before we jump into that, let me also mention that the QR code doesn't necessarily have to be just for videos. Anything that you can pull up on your Google Chrome browser, for example, a PDF, can be, if you put that PDF somewhere where it's accessible, you can take the QR code, and now people have that checklist, a written checklist that they can look at
Okay.
rather than having to watch a video. So that's important to note as well. Anything that you can
Okay.
have on Google Chrome, you can put into a QR code. Now, as far as tracking it, that's one step more advanced. So if you have a video or if you have a PDF, something like that, that's in a shared repository, could be Google Drive, could be Dropbox, could be a file folder on your corporate server, that is not necessarily trackable. You're not going to be able
Okay.
to see when somebody accesses it and how much they've watched. In order to be able to do that, it's going to have to be located in a place which will allow people, which forces people to sign in, so that
Okay.
there is a particular account associated with that. And there are platforms, video platforms, that will allow you to be able to see exactly how long somebody has watched and where they drop off. It's a 4-minute video. Most people are dropping off at 2 minutes, that kind of thing.
Right.
So you need to kind of, you need to look around for what are the analytics that are important to you, and why, more to the point, are those analytics important to you? If everybody's operating safely, maybe it's not really important that you know how much of the video people have watched if you have no safety issues.
Right.
On the other hand, if you have substantial numbers of safety issues and the video is there, then it might be worth checking it to see if people have actually logged in to do that. My particular platform is the high-end version. We're the kind of the Cadillac of learning management systems, and so we can do all of that and then some. But for those entrepreneurs, small businessmen who are just kind of starting out, small business people who are starting out, a platform that just allows you to see when links are clicked, for example, might be all you need.
Right.
It's getting a little crazy. And those of us that want to run calmer businesses or just regular businesses, right? We just want to serve people and we just want to do
regular
work and we don't want to have to go viral to do it. I see so many people falling for the trap of like, if you're not on social media, you're not relevant. If you're not going viral, you're not going to be successful. And it's just not true.
I know.
The majority of businesses don't need social media. And certainly if they need it, they don't need to go viral on it. And yeah, I think it's become a hill I want to die on, because otherwise you kill yourself on social media. It's a full-time job by itself.
It is. And it's one of the things I probably spend the most time on with the least return.
Yeah, 100%. That is true for most businesses, unless you are an influencer or you have a particular niche where your audience really expects you to be on social and to have crazy, content going off all the time. The majority of businesses, you're not going to see the return on it. Not for the time you're putting into it.
What I know about small business owners, they don't spend a lot of time looking for viral trends on the internet.
Yeah.
They're like voyeurs at best. They maybe have one or two channels they check out. They scroll it, in the evenings when they got nothing else to do. They don't comment. They don't like. They don't share. They don't post.
We don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't even have the apps on my phone anymore. Like, I don't have time for that. Please don't distract me. I have other things to do.
I introduce you to my wife. She'll be very happy. She can get you to tell her to get me to do that. But when we first talked, you talked a bit about what caught my attention was you said you have an Instagram business card strategy, which sounds very cool. And our initial conversation, I thought, man, that's very cool. So
yeah.
Walk us through, what is the Instagram business card strategy?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, it is not for every business, but it is for many businesses. Mm-hmm. I'm in a niche where I need to be making regular content per my audience's expectations. So what I'm doing on Instagram is not an example of the social media strategy. Okay. The social media strategy is for people who your audience is not finding you on Instagram. They're finding you in other places. And they're using Instagram to validate whether or not they're going to use your business. So for instance, they go to Yelp, they go to Google, they're searching, a local carpenter, they're searching a coffee shop, they're checking out your website, but they want to know a little bit more about you. So they go to social to validate, like, who is this person? Let me check out some more of their work. Let me get some more personality from them. We expect to see different things on social than we do on websites, right? We expect the website to be like the polished version and social media to be a little bit more real, we assume, right? Yeah. So if that's the case, you don't need to create a post a day or 4 posts a day. You don't even need to create 2 a week in many cases, but you do need some content on there that when they come to that platform, whether it's Instagram, maybe it's other platforms as well. This could be applied to other platforms.
I'm old, so I use Facebook.
Facebook, it can be applied to.
The other old folks.
Yeah. So when people are going to those platforms, what do they need to know? What do they need to see? What are the questions in the back of their mind that they're not thinking about asking? For instance, I had a client who is a brick and mortar yoga studio, right? When she's creating content, when she's doing this strategy, she's thinking about what's going to make people feel comfortable to come to the studio for the first time. So what she does is she's familiarizing them with the parking lot, right? She has a reel of like driving up, passing the studio, right, going to the parking lot, walking around, while opening up the door, right? It's a cute little reel, but what it's actually doing is addressing the buyer's question in the back of their mind of,
do they have parking? Is it safe? Is it dark? What part of town is it in?
Is it run down? Like,
yeah,
what does
yeah.
any of this look like, right?
I'm a huge proponent of that. Like when people go for job interviews, people laugh and I say, just knowing if there's parking and where to park, yeah, that's a source of anxiety for them amongst a million other things they have in their brain, yep, right? So if you can just let them know, like, hey, when you pull up, there's lots of parking, just grab visitor's parking spot right in front of the door and you're good to go. And they're like, okay, that's one less thing I have to worry about.
It's just like if you go to a restaurant, most of us will go to the images. We want to see pictures of the restaurant, pictures of, yep, the food, pictures of the menu. Even though the menu's on the website, we want to see pictures of the menu.
Sure. For me, the most critical business decision, especially more recently, is to stop hiring just on the pure resume or pedigree, and instead starting to hire for the athlete for the position. I mean, so often today we're hearing AI and other things, and so they're prioritizing. They're looking for the people they think they're reducing risk by hiring somebody that's done this exact role, usually in this exact industry. And instead, things are moving so fast that they're missing the people that are actually going to help them grow and succeed. So they're not hiring the systems thinker, the person that's data literate, the person that has a bias towards action, that has an experience where they've proven that they will just figure stuff out. They embrace healthy conflict, both when you tell them to do something and they go, hey, the market's going a different direction. I think we need to talk about that first. And somebody that has a personal mission, even if that may not align with yours personally. So that's a little bit of kind of, I think the biggest thing for the critical decision for me is they're looking for something that feels safer for themselves as an owner or a board or investors if they have one, as opposed to what's actually going to be effective, especially in marketing and sales.
And would you account that to kind of hiring for like current needs versus future needs, or is it just a fear of hiring someone bigger and better than them, or just not knowing how to recognize who they need?
It's a little of both. I've seen, especially for companies, even small SMBs that have investors as well. The investor class has very much shifted risk profiles over the last 10 years, where they think that they've so much gone into playbooks. Their playbooks typically say, hey, we want a marketer, we want a CFO that's been in this industry doing exactly this. And instead, like, that's okay, but then they wonder why, hey, they make the same financial problems and decisions that other people in the industry make, or they wonder why their branding and their marketing, their sales sounds just like everybody else. And so, but their playbooks tell them you need somebody that has done this exact role in this exact industry, usually from our competitors, and then they wonder why everything goes below average. Well, so they think it's kind of both what you said, as well as if there's investors involved in boards, they think they're trying to mitigate risk, and they're not.
Simone, this is in your wheelhouse. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would totally agree with everything Kurt just said. I think when I look at our clients, a lot of times it's all that, and then not really understanding what the right fit is for the role actually. And a lot of times it kind of goes in between, do we hire up, as in, do we hire somebody who is an expert, perceived expert, right, who looks great on paper, or do we bring somebody up through the ranks? What works better? And I would think the decision that's actually handicapping most entrepreneurs is to hire slow and fire fast. Because what we see all the time is like, you hire somebody, you do your research, you get some clarity, you hire somebody, whether you hire up or down. But pretty quickly, if you have the right systems in place, you should be able to judge, is this the right person for the role or not? But what we see pretty often is that, everybody is so relieved that they finally hired somebody. It just goes, throw them in the deep end of the pool and hopefully they're going to swim. And there's no sharing of values. There's no clear goals and expectations. There's no follow-up, right? They might even share all that stuff on the beginning, but then they don't really follow up with that. There's no support going forward. So the poor person that got hired is not really clear. How can I make a big difference? How can I actually contribute at the highest level? How can I actually keep pushing this company forward. So they're not contributing at the level that the business owner hoped. And then a decision doesn't get made. So the decision either needs to be, hey, this is not the right fit. We need to let go of this person and find somebody else. Or the decision that needs to come before is we need to give that person the support, the clarity, the oversight, the mentoring that they need to actually be successful in that role.
I'm not an AI expert that's going to come on here and
roofing
throw up a bunch of terms on you. I'm just a normal guy that just started using it because I got a couple intro things like this show here. But a lot of people use like Chat GPT to go on and ask questions, right? And so like it's very helpful for that. But you can actually design a personality on Chat GPT that has one, instead of being an expert at everything, it's an expert at one thing and it's really good at it.
Right.
And so like a custom GPT is I go in and I build a certain chat bot, if you will, that is great at answering questions a specific way. And so you go in and say, this is what I want you to respond. This is where I want you to pull information. This is the tone that you need to respond in. These are the rules that you need to follow. Never do this. And you just put all these rules in for it. And then whenever you want to work within the bounds of that particular area, you open that GPT and it's got an area for it.
And you feed it information on your business and all that good stuff too, right? So it can speak in the tone. I know we use it. It's a team GPT, so it has access to a couple different models. And we just feed it everything from KeyHire, and then it'll say, write an email in the tone of Corey Harlock, and it'll pull out all that stuff that we put in, and it's incredible what it can do. So I'm sure you've fed it all the stuff from your businesses, right? So like the numbers and the quoting processes and the margins you want to make and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It follows those rules. Okay, so walk us through. So you got this custom GPT, you fed it in, and you picked quoting. Why did you pick quoting? What was the idea around using it to create a quoting process more efficient, and what were the impacts of it?
So this is really cool. Like, so I'd been playing with them and making different ones. And I have a person in our office. His entire job was to basically babysit the estimates the sales reps bring in. So when they're quoting a roof, you have to make sure that you have all the right materials. It's not just shingles, it's underlayments and all these other things that go along, right? So you got 20 different components and every roof's different.
And
so
every salesman is trying to win the quote. So they're like, numbers that may or may not work.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're just like, hey, on to the next, right? Because they're not dealing with production. Production is. So this one guy had to go through all of the photos. There's like 150 photos on every job. And then he's got to look at their estimate. And then he's got to look at the roof reports, because we get these digital roof reports that says every measurement. And then he has to like go through and check them all. So it takes like an hour to do one. And we're doing 6 or 7 roofs a day. And so he's spending full time looking at everybody's work. So I was like, I had made about 7 or 8 custom GPTs at this point. And I was like, I wonder. So I put all of our rules in that we need for estimating. And so I created a custom GPT, put all of our rules in, everything I could possibly think of. And then I saved it and I sent it over to the guy that was doing this. And I said, hey, start running estimates through this GPT and seeing, what issues come up. And so he'd be like, hey, it's throwing an error here and it's throwing an error there. So we went back and forth on this about 8 or 9 times. And he was like, hey, can we fix this? Can we fix this?
But was he like into it? Like, was he like, oh, this is cool? We can.
Yeah, for sure.
Was he
for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, he was. And because I let him know, I said, hey, what I'm trying to do is get you to have to stop babysitting all of these estimates and have this thing do it for us so we can focus you on other things.
So you weren't trying to eliminate a job. You're just trying to build some efficiencies and to better use our resource.
Yeah, I would not necessarily eliminate a job, but
that's what a lot of people think, though, right? Well, I can do this. Like, that's not what you were doing in this case.
What would be nice? So we're $12 to $15 million a year. My goal would be to go to 50 million without having to hire more people to do that same thing.
You think you can scale from 15 to 50?
What I'm saying is I'm designing it so if I grow, I don't have to hire four people to do what he's doing.
Right, because that's if they were doing it manually, the time that it took, it would take 4 people. Just the input of time would take 4 people.
Correct. And so it's being able to grow without adding on a bunch of staff and then redirect any wasted hours. That's just general data entry. So we finally nailed this thing down pretty good. And what happens now is whenever a sales guy has an estimate, instead of him having to check it, they run it through this GPT.
The salesperson.
Okay. It checks, they have to put in photos, their estimate, and then the roof report that says all the measurements. And so you don't even have to say anything. You just drop in those 3 things and hit enter. It processes it all. It says if there's any errors with theirs, like, hey, you need to add on a couple more bundles of shingles, or you're short on this. This thing, if you got good pictures, can even tell you the difference between like needing a pipe boot for a lead pipe versus a PVC pipe. Like, hey, you got a lead pipe boot, you need a regular pipe boot. Like, I mean, it's very granular. And then what happens is once they get to 98% or above accuracy, it creates a downloadable PDF that says, hey, you're at 99% accuracy or 100% accuracy. And then so now when they turn all of their stuff into production, instead of him having to check it, we know that it's already been ran through all of our system and that it matches all of our build requirements. And we have that PDF report so they can move it right past that into processing and scheduling.
Hey man, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Corey? Thanks for having me.
Hey, no worries. 16 handicaps. So that means you shoot in the 85 to 90?
Yeah, I would say like low 80s to high 80s in that range.
God, I hate guys like you.
I play with a lot of guys that are crushing me. So I hear you.
I know. I think the best round I ever shot was a 91 or a 92, and then I blew my elbow out, and then I had kids and they got old and into sports, and no time for golf.
I hear you.
It's tough. One of the things I found interesting, because I'm a hockey freak, is your dad used to coach Olympic level hockey over in Europe, and that's what took you over there, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
Very cool. Are you a hockey fan?
I was forced into it, if anything, but yes, I do enjoy going to games as well. I'm usually the last one somewhere yelling at the ref.
Dr. Bob.
Hey, Corey. Hey, great to be with you.
Is that story accurate? I think you were working with the team where Claudine used to work, and then we just she was like, oh, you got to meet this Dr. Bob guy. And we all went out for dinner. And
yeah, well, no, I think it worked more like this. She met a psychologist, me at work, and she said, you really need to talk to my husband.
that could be way closer to the truth.
I've been waiting years to tell you this, but that's how it happened.
Yeah, that's how it really happened. Well, I'm sad to say none of it stuck.
That's why I'm back. That's right.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with small businesses and everything to do with me and my relationship. Kurt, did you have a mailing list you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I have one on my own website. Sign up if you want to.
Did you know when you come? Sorry, we'll try that again. I didn't get a coffee. That's all right. We're good. I hope that all made sense.
Oh, hold on, Matt. I forgot to pull up my intros.
All right. Oh, shit, Matt. I'm going to change this one up, Matt. Actually, Matt, I got to start that again. That was horrible. It's going to be a rough one today here. Hold on. What am I getting wrong here? What am I missing? There's too few vowels and too many consonants from you there. My little buddy walked around in the background. Man, I lost my train of thought. Are we still recording? Matt, we might need to do a quick edit here.